Hi, Michael Roddy, Manager of Show Development for Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights with an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at one of our mazes for this year's Ripped from the Silver Screen event. This is Frankenstein, Creation of the Damned. Now, what this storyline is actually we went back to the original Frankenstein films, the original James Whale classic Frankenstein, and then also Bride of Frankenstein, and this is a sequel to Bride of Frankenstein. So that the castle has been destroyed, and as you can see, Dr. Frankenstein has tried to rebuild it to work more on his devilish experiments. One of the things that we love about this maze and the design is that if you actually look how he's been putting it back together, it's reminiscent of the stitching that you would find on the Frankenstein monster. One of the coolest things about the Frankenstein monster too is that when we were designing the look for him, we knew that we loved Boris Karloff's original look, but that has become an icon and not necessarily scary with today's audiences. So we went back and realized that when you think about Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster was reanimated dead flesh. He's a walking corpse, so there was some decomposition. So our Frankenstein's going to look different than you've ever seen before. This is where the doctor's been trying to put the castle back together so he can continue his experiments. We love to do things like this to have a huge entry statement so it immediately takes you and immerses you in the set, in the environment. This is a film quality set. You know, we could come in here and roll cameras and make a mini movie if we wanted to. Come on inside. We start to move deep into the ruins of the castle. Again, there'll be shadow play on this where you actually see the silhouette of the monster, and then as your attention's there, the monster will come at you from here. That's one of the other things we like to do is misdirect. We'll show you something one place and then scare you from another. Whether we use that with sound, effects, lighting, any of those things that make you look one way so that we can scare you from the other side. And then we move into Dr. Frankenstein's private study. We actually went back into the time period, got a dictaphone. You'll actually hear the doctor reciting all of his experiments. You see all of his notes and things like that, where you get the idea that he was here just moments ago working. And then here's our first example of where you'll actually see something that's been reanimated. His experiments, he's worked on a monkey paw. This is actually an animatronic that's been built. The paw actually closes and opens to distract you as the good doctor scares you from this side. And everywhere you look, there's something suggestive of the storyline, whether it's body parts or skeletal parts, drawings, laboratory equipment. Again, just to give you the idea that something is in here and the doctor has been working and heavily toiling away. Keep moving deeper. Then we go into Frankenstein's first laboratory. And we actually have some people making some last-minute adjustments. This is one of Frankenstein's reanimated subjects he's bringing back to life. He doesn't have a torso, but he'll be moving. As you can see, his light chamber is lit up. This will be beating. The idea that this guy, even though there's no way he could possibly be alive, is alive. If you look up just the level of detail again with just these kind of atmospheric pieces that are suggestive of this steampunk environment that Frankenstein would be in, or our Frankenstein. More laboratory equipment. An unfortunate victim here. Then we actually have a piece. This is funny. Sometimes we recycle props. This is actually from the movie Van Helsing, a really great piece that we had laying around, and we said this perfect to wheel this back out for our version of Frankenstein. Then things start to get a little more bloody because, you know, Frankenstein had a lot of experiments before the first monster. Body parts. And as you see, they've recently been bloodied. But as you come in here, what you'll see is the Frankenstein monster will actually take this body and slam it across there and then come out at you. And that's going to be one heck of a scare. This is one of our favorite scares. What we do is actually put a live performer on this table. He takes his leg and puts it into this hole, and then we have a prosthetic leg, and then the other actor can actually be sawing on this so it looks like he's sawing his leg off for more experiments. Just to give you a heads up, as you can see, this is a PG-13 event. It's not for the squeamish. You know, we do things a certain way here at Universal, and that's to make you scream. Then we're moving into kind of the jail cells of the castle where he kept all of the experiments that didn't work out right. So you'll have these misshapen creatures coming at you from every doorway, chasing you deeper into the castle. Again, the look, these little details, these are nothing but little chain parts, but it gives you the idea that this is a very heavy environment, very dark, very laboratory, very disheveled, disintegrating castle, dangerous. This is where we'll find the bride of Frankenstein. We actually have a lever that will be pulled. A lighting cube brings the bride of Frankenstein to life, and then that bride will step off and come after you, wrapped in bandages and bloodied. Then we come to where the actual castle exploded. Lots of ruins, lots of burnt walls. You can see the crumbling facades of things, the walls coming apart. And what you'll have in this experience is you'll actually have the character of Fritz, who was Dr. Frankenstein's assistant and was always tormenting the monster. Fritz has been brought back to life, and the monster takes him, puts him against his beam, and rips his heart out right in front of you. But you really feel like you're in this environment. We also have smells that'll be like burnt rubble and concrete smell, fire, so that you feel like this has just been burning and just was put out recently. Then we move into our finale room, which is the final laboratory of Dr. Frankenstein. Huge pieces of machinery. And you see the character that you've seen earlier as Dr. Frankenstein now has been strung up by the monster, and you actually have the 7-foot-tall Frankenstein's monster coming at you from here, chasing you out. The thing we really love about this environment too is the space we built up to 2 stories so that everywhere you look, you feel like you're in a castle. And that's Frankenstein's creation of the Damned. Halloween Horror Nights 2009, ripped from the silver screen. Hope to see you here.
You're probably wondering where you are. I'll tell you where you might be. You might be in the room that you die in.